Just keep an eye on my Twitter. It should come across. Hold on. Interesting. Another hour of the show starts right now on SportsMap Radio and the SportsMap Radio app. We got a lot to do in this hour of the show, and we will do it. Do it. LeBron's already, I think, got 20. And there's still like 4 or 5 minutes left to go in the first half. He's gonna obliterate this number tonight, which Scott Seidenberg was saying is 32.5 on the prop bet. I think LeBron may have just gone to the bench to get a blow. Probably I wonder if for the rest of the half, or we'll see him again before the half. But he is well on his way to setting this record. You know who doesn't want him to break the record? Every ticket scalping secondhand ticket market on the planet doesn't want LeBron to break this record tonight, because they made a fortune tonight, and they will make a fortune again on Thursday night if LeBron is in a position to break the record then. So that's who's rooting. Them and the Lakers are definitely rooting for LeBron to get really close tonight. Cliffhanger right to the edge. And then back again on Thursday night to try and break the record. Could happen. The phone number, 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to tweet at the show, at the back page. Again, on Twitter, at the back page. Here's an interesting question I pose. This is one of those made for sports radio questions, but I'm curious to see what people think. Of all the individual scoring records, individual offensive records, let's say, what is the most valuable one? I wonder what as Americans, as sports fans, what is the one we hold most dear? Is it the home run record in baseball? Is it touchdown, throws or catches in football? Rushing yards record, passing yards record? What would be the one thing? What would be the one record that we value the most as sports fans when it comes to individual records? The goal scoring mark, which Alexander Ovechkin is going for. I don't know the answer. I guess for me, it's probably home runs. And then you think about the ones that are unbreakable. Cy Young, the pitching, the pitching wins for Cy Young, career wins. Cy Young career wins was, let's see. Cy Young career wins 511. I mean, that's crazy. Most career pitching wins. Let's see. Most career pitching wins in baseball. is Cy Young with 511. Second is almost 100 behind him. Walter Johnson, 417. So that just goes to show you how unbreakable the Cy Young mark is. That Cy Young at 511 is almost 100 clear of number 2. But I to say, though, I've seen 2 guys in my era that were able to get into the top 10 in that number. Maddox and Clemens. And think whatever you want to say about Roger Clemens and blah, 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 blah. Roger Clemens, 354 wins. Greg Maddox, 355. Tommy John is 288. And another guy named Bobby Matthews is 297. They never got into the Hall of Fame. And Rogers obviously not in. The numbers it's interesting to see who gets in, who doesn't, that sort of thing. Career win guys. And listen, the reality is there may never be another 300-game winner. Justin Verlander's the best shot you got. I've said this before. He's at 244. And he would have to pitch easily 3 more years to get to 300. And he's 39. He ain't making it. Which means we're never going to get another 300-game winner. Now, I'm not looking to burst the bubble of Rockets fans. He ain't getting to 300. Which means we're never getting another 300-game winner. So question this hour. We'll leave it up there for you. Of all the sports individual records, what is the one you hold most dear? 1-800-224-2004. What is the one that would get you to tune in? If this didn't get you to tune in tonight, what is the record that would get you to tune in? 800-224-2004. 800-224-2004. And again, hit me up on Twitter at the back page as we watch LeBron James in his quest tonight for the once thought of as unbreakable record. And that being the career points total, which he's got a good shot at tonight. 38,388. And I think he's got 20 right now in the first half, does LeBron. Let's see if we can give you the latest player point number on LeBron. He is at 20. So he is 16 points shy of the record, and I'm going to guess he's probably done for till halftime. I'm going to guess he's probably done until halftime. But LeBron right now at 20 points. His player prop bet is frozen in terms of live betting if you wanted to get another wager on him. LeBron with 20. I believe he's leading all scorers with that number. I have not touched the Kyrie Irving story yet. Let me say this. Kyrie Irving needs to do a lot of self-examination at this point. And I've said this before. I think he's a lost cause. I really believe that. And I like to think that everybody's sort of retrievable, that eventually the light bulb can go on in anybody. But I have often said this in sports. Whenever you get a player going to a new team, and the first thing out of that player's mouth, or the second or third thing out of their mouth in the introductory press conference when they go to that new team is, I want to turn the page. I want to write a new chapter. I want to start. My favorite one is, I want to start over, a fresh start. You hear it all the time in sports, don't you? I want to start over. Fresh start for me. New beginnings. Whenever you hear that coming from a professional athlete who's changing teams, you already know, without a single question being uttered in the press conference, before they even played their first game on that new team, that you're getting a problem. You already know it. And sometimes you'll hear this a second, third, fourth time. Think about it. Kyrie in Cleveland, Kyrie in Boston, Kyrie in Brooklyn, now Kyrie in Dallas. So this is the third time that you've gotten the old, I want to flip the script, I want to change the page, or in Kyrie's case, I want to change my narrative. Ah, yes. Change my narrative. You created the narrative. Your behavior and your behavior alone has created the narrative that exists. Nobody's making out of thin air this narrative of who you are. And to say you want to change the narrative and then get up in a press conference and say, well, I felt like I was disrespected in Brooklyn. I felt like I wasn't celebrated. I was just being tolerated or dealt in a way where I don't feel respected. Felt like he was disrespected in Brooklyn. The guy barely was on the court for the team during the time he had signed there. And he wants to talk about being disrespected? You've got to be kidding me.
In the seat today, I just know I want to be places where I'm celebrated and not just tolerated or just, kind of dealt with in a way that doesn't make me feel respected. And there were times throughout this process when I was in Brooklyn where I felt very disrespected, and my talent, I work extremely hard at what I do. No one ever talks about my work ethic, though. Everyone talks about what I'm doing off the floor. So I just want to change that narrative, write my own story, and just continue to prepare in the gym. And now that I'm in Dallas, just focus on what I can control, like I said.
Wow. Want to change my narrative. Nobody talks about it because you're the one who's... Listen, ever since the whole book with the anti-Semitic tropes and all that stuff, ever since then, after he came back and played great basketball, all anybody was talking about was how good Kyrie looked on the floor. It wasn't until he came out and said, oh, I want to trade. I want out. I want to go somewhere else because I didn't get the contract that I thought I should get. Despite the fact that I've only played 150 games in the last 3 years or 4 years, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, I want out. And then you're shocked that people are going to talk about what the hell you're doing in practice? Are you kidding me? Good luck, Dallas. You're going to need it. Here's the good news. You only got him for a little while. We're coming back. Okay, thank you. No, I want the Eric Bieniemy stuff that I talked about. First segment. Thank you for being with us. 1-800-224-2004. That's the phone number. 800-224-2004. If you want to tweet at the show, go ahead and do it at the back page. Our question this hour, with LeBron on the verge of making history, what is the record that you hold most valuable? What is the individual player record that you hold most valuable? Is it Pete Rose as the hit king? It's obviously one you can certainly put near the top of the list. I'll tell you why. I think, and by the way, they're at the half in Los Angeles. LeBron, I think, has 20. I'll tell you why I think. Oh, wow. Vegas. FanDuel put the number. You ready for this? And Justin, you'll even get a kick out of this. You're probably not a sports bettor, but you'll get a kick out of this. So the live betting number right now for LeBron for total points in this game is 36.5. And he needs 36 to break the record. So they're basically saying, is he going to break the record or not? Is basically the question that they're asking at the half. I would say yes, especially with the Lakers trailing. Player prop bet alert. Here we go. Our live betting game of the night. Let's give a live bet. You ready? I know you're out there listening. You're waiting for our live bet. I have not given one tonight. LeBron over 36.5. There you go. That's our live bet of the night. LeBron over 36.5. You can tip me later. Do it. Do it. If you can do a live player prop bet on your site, LeBron over 36.5. But I can't believe they set it at 36.5. It's just daring you to do it. It's just daring you. 36.5 is the number on FanDuel right now. 36.5. Minus 112. So there's a little juice there, but very little. I like it. LeBron over 36.5. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 34.5. Fun. It'll be fun to watch in the second half. So that's our live bet over 36.5. And if you missed Scott Seidenberg, he gave us 3 great prop bets in the first hour of the show tonight. I will recap them for you. He said the biggest one he gave, over 1.5 fourth down conversions. And I fully endorse that live prop, that prop bet for the Super Bowl. Over 1.5 fourth down conversions. I mean, you think about it. The way teams go for it on fourth down these days, that's a lock. Over 1.5 fourth down conversions. Unless they completely change the script. And I mean that figuratively, not literally, because they're, some people might be listening and saying, what? The game is scripted? Unless they completely change the script and teams just stop going for it on fourth and 2 from the other team's 44. That is a lock. Over 1.5 fourth down conversions. no touchback, and under 21.5 yards on Jerick McKinnon. Those are the three really good bets that Scott Seidenberg gave us. I'll tell you another one I like. Under on Jalen Hurts passing yardage. I don't believe in him. Sorry. I'll take the under on Jalen Hurts in terms of the passing yards. Hit me up. 800-224-2004. 800-224-2004. And again, you can hit me up on Twitter at the back page. Again, on Twitter at the back page. It is interesting to me that we're in a spot right now and this line really isn't moving. And again, I know every sports book is different. You can get it as high as 2. The total at 50.5. You can get it at 51. These numbers just are not moving. It feels like they have crystallized, and this is where we are when it comes to the betting on this game. And I think most people know who they like if you're betting the game. And I agree with something else Scott Seidenberg said when he joined us in the last hour. And if you missed the conversation, we'll play it back for you in the final hour of the show. But I like something he said during that conversation, and that is, if you're not, I like the under personally, but if you're not crazy about the spread or betting the over/under on the total, just do prop bets. Just do player prop bets. Don't do a zillion of them where you break even and lose on the juice, but do 1 or 2 here and there. Do 3 or 4. If you've got $200, do 50 on 4 different prop bets you like. The 4 you like the most. And that always gets tricky when you're trying to figure out, it's like, who's my favorite son? Or who's my favorite daughter? Or who's my favorite child? Oh, I've got 4 kids. Which one do I like the most? Or I've got 8 kids. Which 4 do I like the most? Having to figure that out, and sometimes you can think long and think wrong. You can overthink it. And again, I'm just talking about the casual sports bettor here. We're not getting into, the whale who's putting $1 zillion down on a game or something like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just the casual guy who bets every Super Bowl and he's looking forward to throwing some shekels down on a game. That's all. I'll be curious to see, right now the money on the game, I was looking at it before when we were talking about the Super Bowl. Let's see if I can find it here. Super Bowl. The last time I looked, it was like 76% of the money, I think, or 70% of the money on Philadelphia. Kansas City's just not getting any love, which is just nuts to me. I'm there. You can't convince me to take Philadelphia because I have not been a believer in this team all year. And you know what? I'll eventually either be proven right or I will just have been wrong all year. But I am not of the belief that this Philadelphia Eagles team, I still don't believe, especially offensively, I don't think they're as good as a lot of people think they are. I think they're a really good team defensively. I think they're a great team defensively. But I've seen Patrick Mahomes be able to score against good defenses before. Look at what he did against San Francisco. I mean, he has pounded some good defenses into submission throughout the year. And yeah, they're going to get after him. And maybe that ankle ain't 100%. Maybe it's only 85 or 90%. That's good enough. Look, when you talk about, here's something to think about. And again, I think of things, and I do things simplistically. Because sometimes simple is easier. You can get bogged down in numbers. You can get bogged down in statistics. Let me just tell you this. If you have two teams that are this evenly matched up, what do you think it's going to come down to? Really? Think about the two quarterbacks in this game. One has faced a Giants team that is laugh out loud, that has been laugh out loud, sort of mediocre to a slightly above average team. that beat an overrated Minnesota team to get into a second playoff game where they get just beaten like a drum by the Eagles. And then Philadelphia against a San Francisco team who loses their starting quarterback in the first quarter and is down to Christian McCaffrey taking snaps by the fourth quarter. How good do we know, Philadelphia is in a big spot, in a tough spot, under pressure? Jalen Hurts. We don't. And don't give me this crap about what he did in college and winning games at Oklahoma or Alabama. I don't care about any of that. This is the largest stage football has to offer. I've seen Patrick Mahomes author his story in the biggest stage in football. I have not seen Jalen Hurts do it. And I'm left to scratch my head. And I watch this guy miss open receivers. And I'm left to wonder. In a game where these two teams are as closely matched as they are, Vegas is telling you they think it's a draw. Okay? I'm going to go with the better quarterback. And I'm not going to apologize for doing it. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes and the Eagles. And I think the game goes under because I don't think Philadelphia is going to score that much. I don't think either team is going to score a ton, but I definitely don't think Philadelphia is going to score that much. 27-17, 27-20. Philadelphia going to score more than 20? Defense is going to have to score for that to happen. We're coming back. More to do in this hour of the cash-in. I'm Jason Page. This is SportsMap Radio. halfway home on this Tuesday edition of the show. Thank you for being with us. Maybe we are accompanying you on the journey of LeBron James trying to become the all-time individual scoring leader in the history of the NBA. If you are, and we're with you, then fantastic. Good to have you with us tonight. 1-800-224-2004 is the telephone number. 800-224-2004. Our question this hour, of all the individual scoring records in sports, which one means the most to you? Can I bring in Justin Barbosa, our producer-engineer who works on the show from Houston? Since he's with us a few days this week, I'll bring him in here. If you were a play-by-play guy, because I know play-by-play is your thing, that's what you want to do. I don't think we're breaking any news here. Justin has aspirations to work in play-by-play. If you, Justin, could do play-by-play for any one record, what one would you want to do it for? Yeah, that's a good one, right? Home run? Would that be, if I gave you one sport to do play-by-play for, would that be it? No, I don't want you to do three. If I said you could only choose one to do play-by-play for, not everybody gets to do multiple sports. If you could only do one sport, what sport would it do? On the professional level, the major league level, what would it be? Really? Basketball? See, I did them all on the collegiate and professional level. And I would probably say baseball, because it is the one that most resembles being a talk show host because of the speed of the game. You always have time to fill. You always have stories to tell, and you have ample time to tell them. So for me, as somebody who is already a professional storyteller, and I don't mean that in a fictional way, but as somebody that is already a storyteller for a living and has done that for 20 some odd years, baseball would be the easiest thing. That if you put me in a baseball booth tomorrow and said, Jason, you're the play-by-play voice for fill in the blank with whatever major league team you want, I could step in tomorrow and pick it back up. See, because of the speed of the game. Basketball moves so damn quickly, especially on the radio. Basketball on the radio is tough. Hockey on the radio is tough. Baseball, that's a breeze. Even football, which I did, to me is relatively easy compared to basketball and hockey. I think basketball and hockey on the radio, trying to paint that picture at the speed that game moves, that's rough. Football's got a lot of space in between too. And you got a lot of time to talk during football games, unless you got teams running the no huddle. There's always time to talk during football games. But interesting. You said basketball, huh? Okay. Yeah, it'd be baseball for me. I'd get back. I'll tell you right now, if somebody offered me a Major League Baseball play-by-play job tomorrow, I'd walk to wherever it is. I'd carry my stuff on my back. It's the only thing that I would drop everything for now would be to do baseball play-by-play. Oh, God, I had so much fun. And when you love it, when you do it in, like, independent ball, like I did the Atlantic League back when Ricky Henderson was playing in that league, and, Henry Rodriguez and a lot of former major leaguers. But I did play-by-play for baseball. And when you're doing independent league, the Atlantic League, and you're traveling to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, no offense, Lancaster, we love you, but it's not a lot going on in Lancaster, or Bridgeport, Connecticut, or Long Island, or any of these other places, Southern Maryland, and doing these games. Oh, I'm telling you, you gotta love doing play-by-play when you go to those places. I did some AA baseball too, which is fun, but I would do Major League. I'd drop it tomorrow. Matter of fact, no, I shouldn't say that. If I say this, I might be divorced, so I won't say it. I'd do Major League Baseball the rest of my life, though, if I could. As my husband walks in the room, if I said what I was going to say, I think my husband would divorce me. Trade my husband for a Major League Baseball play-by-play job? That would be the ultimate indecent proposal, and I don't know what I would do. If somebody said you have to get divorced and you're going to have a Major League Baseball play-by-play job for the rest of your life, what would you say? Your dream job. You would encourage me to go, right? You would. See? That's why you're the best. So that's why I married you, because you would let me go in that situation. Thank you. I'm doomed. I'm going to be divorced by the end of the show. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. Story of the night. And again, it's so weird in a Super Bowl week, a game leading up to the Super Bowl on a Tuesday, that the NFL and the Super Bowl is not the top story. It is LeBron James going for this once unthinkable record. I'm telling you. Oh, man. But LeBron at 20 at the half. Oh, we're in the second half, and LeBron's already at the free throw line, so here we go. LeBron's got 21. And with the Lakers down 10, that bet is a lock. That bet is a lock. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what goes on as we continue throughout the night. We'll keep you up to date on what is going on in that game. There is other NFL news to talk about today. The Saints have been okayed, and Derek Carr has been okayed. There won't be any tampering or anything like that if Derek Carr wants to go meet with the New Orleans Saints. So we've got a team potentially for Derek Carr. And it's funny, when you thought about all the different landing spots potentially for Derek Carr in this offseason, and look, I haven't been going crazy looking at all the different teams, but, because we're in the middle of Super Bowl week and all that stuff. But Derek Carr to the Saints makes a lot of sense. It is thought to be his first known visit ahead of the Raiders' February 15th trigger date on his contract, which means $40.4 million of his salary becomes guaranteed for 2023, $7.5 million for 2024. They're going to cut him by the 15th. They're not going to pay him $40.4 million. So all these machinations are going on. The reality is Derek Carr is going to sign wherever Derek Carr wants to sign because he's going to be a free agent and he can sign anywhere. Situation right now requires either the Raiders or the new team to absorb those guarantees, meaning the Raiders would likely choose to release him if no trade partner. And why would you trade for Derek Carr when you know the Raiders don't want to pay him and he'll be a free agent? I mean, he can go meet with whoever he wants, but Derek Carr's not going anywhere for 8 more days, at least. And if the Raiders cut Derek Carr, they all they get is a $5.6 million salary cap hit. This is a no-brainer. Even the Raiders can't screw this up. Even the Raiders cannot do something to screw this up. Saints are estimated to be at least $55 million over the 2023 salary cap. And they're going to have to redo a lot of deals in order to get Carr's salary cap figure under the contract. So he's not happening. If he goes there, it'll be as a free agent. But what are they going to have to pay him? And they're still going to have to rework some contracts in order to get him in. And Derek Carr has a no-trade clause in his contract on top of that. So he's only going to talk to teams he wants. Derek Carr is in the driver's seat. Let's be honest. After Aaron Rodgers, you look at Carr and you look at Garoppolo, those are probably the 2 best prizes out there in free agency right now. And I'd probably lean towards Carr because he could stay healthy. You don't have to worry every year about him tearing a toe apart or hurting his foot or some freak injury. I'm of the mindset that Derek Carr is probably the second best option out there after Aaron Rodgers, who we will get to, by the way, later on in the show. because there is more Aaron Rodgers news. Because if it's a Tuesday, on Sunday they would say, because if it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. Because if it's Tuesday, Aaron Rodgers is talking to Pat McAfee. So we'll see what he had to say coming up a little later on in the show. We got a LeBron update. 28. He had just had 25 minutes ago. LeBron's got 28. Oh, he's going to obliterate that 36.5 number we told you about before. It's a lock, baby. Live betting victory. Achievement unlocked, whatever you want to say. We're back with more of the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. Stay tuned. Yep. La, 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 la. Let me tell you what could really stink. LeBron could break this record tonight, and the Lakers could lose at home to the Thunder while they're in the middle of trying to, chase a lower playoff seed than anybody probably imagined. I mean, that's really what you're talking about right now. You could definitely have a situation where LeBron breaks the record and the Lakers lose. Because they might need LeBron to go for 50 tonight the way this game's going. 92-80 in favor of Oklahoma City. And this game is like 5:18 to go. LeBron's got 30. This game's got 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Thunder have 92 points. I mean, this is an embarrassing defensive display tonight from the Lakers on their home floor. Wow. Boy, LeBron's just doing whatever he wants offensively. But they're basically saying, hey, LeBron get his, and we'll just stop everybody else. Amazing. So the number right now for LeBron is he needs 6 more points to break the record. He is at 30, and his game total right now is 39.5. With all this time left in the game, I would still probably take the over on that. He's at 30. He's at 30, and the number's 39.5. You're telling me he's not going to score 10 more points in this game? Are you kidding? You know he's going to be out there in crunch time. Heck with it. Let's do a second live bet. We have already got one at 36.5. Let's do one for 39.5. Lock it in. 39.5. So we're giving you one at 36.5 and one at 39.5. There you go. Locked and loaded. We'll keep an eye on LeBron. Let you know if he, as he continues to approach this number. 30 points on the night for LeBron James. We talked about the news involving Derek Carr, which is obviously a big story, him being able to talk to the Saints, because it means that we know of at least that team that is interested in him. But I think, honestly, too, and we'll get into this in the next hour on the Aaron Rodgers stuff, because I plan to start the next hour on Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of things that won't happen until Aaron Rodgers' situation is figured out. Teams got to just sit back and wait and be patient and wait to see where Aaron Rodgers winds up before they make a move. You know who is not getting a glowing endorsement today? And he's probably not too thrilled with J.J. Watt. That would be Kyler Murray, J.J. Watt's former teammate in Arizona with the Cardinals. J.J. Watt was a guest of Dan Patrick on the Dan Patrick Show on Tuesday, or maybe on Monday, on Monday, and listen to Dan Patrick grilling J.J. Watt on his former teammate, Kyler Murray.
I'm trying to figure out Kyler Murray.
Okay.
He was great in high school, great in college, but I don't know. I'm trying to be fair to him. I think it's too much. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a great talent.
What makes you say that?
Well, the great talent, I can see that. But is he a great leader? Maybe it's asking somebody that age to do something, and that's not fair to him. I don't know. I just get it. I don't know where his trajectory is. It feels like Jalen Hurts has a better sense of who Jalen Hurts is than Kyler Murray does.
This is some deep stuff. I was not prepared for the deep level of questioning this morning.
Yeah, I normally don't get that deep.
No, I was not ready to go into the psychological aspects of players that are not myself.
But you're there on the team. You see it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you mentor, if he listens to anybody, but I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. He's a wonderful talent. I remember when he was in high school, he could do everything. Sometimes when it's too easy, then, are you really developing, putting in the time?
But how easy was it at Oklahoma?
In that offense, it was pretty easy.
It wasn't easy. I guess, yeah, it was.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, it was easy for him too.
Could I do it?
What?
You think?
You can tell J.J. Watt does not want to touch this. It's like third rail. I do not want to go in here and crush Kyler Murray. But by saying nothing to really defend him, nothing truly valid, he's not, and you have to kind of see the video to go along with it. It's kind of an awkward situation with Dan Patrick asking this stuff because he's crushing Kyler Murray without crushing him. It's a quiet crushing. And J.J. Watt just doesn't want to touch it.
Think I could do it? Think Lincoln Riley could make me a Heisman winner? You think he can make me a Heisman winning quarterback?
No, but don't change the subject.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, you could be the tight end there. I'll make you a tight end there.
I was a tight end once, Dan. There's a reason I'm a defensive end now.
I know that.
Do you?
Yes,
Right.
yes. Central Antonio. You want to talk about Antonio Brown instead of Kyler Murray?
I mean, the day that we came into Central Michigan, the freshmen all showed up on the same day, and we went to the indoor facility to run. We went to run by ourselves, I guess, like freshmen.
So he kind of leaves it alone there, and then he comes back to it again.
He won a national champion. No, not a national championship, but he won a Heisman in college.
It was too easy. Now you have to outthink people. Now you have to put in the effort. Everybody's great.
Why didn't you do it if it was so easy?
I got as many surgeries as you have.
Do you?
Yeah.
How many do you have? Let's hear them.
Shoulder, hand, eyes, replacement knee, 7 surgeries.
All right, that's not
Botox.
Oh, am I on my way to that?
That was pretty funny, I have to say. But Dan tried to get everything he could out of JJ. JJ just didn't want to touch it. JJ did not want to touch it. And again, Kyler Murray, 5 years, $230 million. If you wonder and you sit here and wonder why the Ravens are so scared to death to give Lamar Jackson this mega deal he wants, completely guaranteed. If you need to know, all you have to look at is Kyler Murray. Neither of them are terribly accurate throwers, both incredibly athletic, both very talented, both very gifted. All of that is great, but are you winning a Super Bowl with either of them? Because unless you can emphatically answer yes, I don't know how you give those deals out. Which is why the Murray 5-year, $230 million deal still, to me, does not hold water. Does not hold up whatsoever. I mean, I'll even beg to say this. The Cardinals won't even sniff a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray in this 5-year deal. They won't even sniff it. Now, if you want to sit here and argue, well, who are they going to get that's better? And that's always the argument you'll get. Don't let good enough be the enemy of finding your best quarterback possible. And to me, the Cardinals, they were like, we got our version of Mahomes, our version of Josh Allen, our version of. That's what the Cardinals decided to do. They went with our version of the best. Instead of going and just simply trying to sign or scout or get via the draft the next best quarterback, they went and got a guy who's good, who you'll win some games with. You're not winning a Super Bowl. If I put any of those guys, I mean, my God, they wanted to put a clause in the guy's contract saying you can't play too many video games, basically. How are you giving that guy, too many video games guy, $45, $46 million a year? How are you doing that as an organization? How are you going to sit here and say, we want to put a clause in the contract that says you have to spend more time studying the playbook and watching film, and then you go and give that guy $46 million a year? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and there's no way you can argue with me otherwise. You might want to, but you can't. Good quarterback. Win some games. Make some Pro Bowls. Yay! If your goal is winning Super Bowls, you're not doing it by giving Kyler Murray 5 years, $230 million. Final hour right around the corner. History could take place during this show with LeBron breaking the record. I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers next on the Cash In. It's SportsMap Radio. I want that Kyler Murray stuff in the podcast. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Bron's got 34. Yep. And it's 102.97 in the third quarter, which is just insane. Yeah, true.
Gives it up, resets. Kendrick Williams on him. LeBron James finds Brown, extra pass. No good on the three from Lonnie Walker. Getting cut off. Here's Muscala. He's been hot tonight. Brown with a rebound. 4 seconds separating shot clock and game clock. Westbrook looking for James. He's got it.
There it is. Just glad it happened while I was on break.
What's thought is an unbreakable record has just been broken by 38-year-old LeBron James.
On a step back against very good defense here by Kendrick Williams. Made him earn it.
Presentation coming. Ladies and gentlemen.
of a Tuesday/Wednesday edition of the show. Wow. Boy, LeBron had good timing. He decided to break the record literally like 3 minutes before midnight on the East Coast. And as we were in our break just before the top of the hour, LeBron James, 36 points on the night. He just passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time individual points total in NBA history. Wow. Amazing. Just amazing. And he did it on one of those patented fall-away jump shots. And the Lakers are going to need every one of these points to win tonight. It's 104-99. They have stopped the game with 10 seconds left in the third quarter. I have to say, that is idiotic to me. Play the last 10 seconds and then celebrate and do all the presentations after the third quarter is over. Now you're going to have to restart a game for 10 seconds, then have another break. I mean, that to me is just moronic. But history tonight in Los Angeles. Don't bury the lead page. LeBron James. I mean, look. I mean, you talk about, again, lazy sports radio topics. The Mount Rushmore of NBA players. He's obviously on it. We could sit here and have this debate all night about LeBron versus Jordan versus Wilt versus Bill Russell versus, hell, Kareem. You can throw them all up there. Do what you want. And you could sit here and argue your case for any of them if you want. 800-224-2004. 800-224-2004. But the reality is, he is among that very highest elite to have ever played the game. There's no getting around that. I mean, you're talking about an insane number for LeBron to get to 38,387 points. Now he's at 38,388. And here's what's craziest. He's got 36 right now before the fourth quarter in a 5-point game. He may go for 50 on a history-making night at the age of 38. It's just, I'm telling you, man, you may, whatever. And I know there was some conversation today about some comments he made about Kyrie Irving not being dealt to the Lakers and the Lakers not doing enough to get him and how he was disappointed and all that stuff. You can say whatever you want about LeBron. You can talk about whether you like him as a person, the decision, all of these different things. There is there aren't a lot of undeniable truths when we talk about sports. Because it's all subjective, right? You can put 5 people in a room, tell them to, talk about the greatest players. 5 different people will have 5 different lists. When you talk about LeBron, it's undisputable his place among the very best to have ever played this game. And if you say otherwise, you have zero credibility. None. Zilch, nada. You should go watch HGTV or something. Because you shouldn't be talking about sports. Everybody's there. LeBron is, Kareem is out there. LeBron is thanking everybody out on the court. They just panned over to Magic Johnson. LeBron's kids. Just incredible. What a great night. It just doesn't get better. To be able to say you saw history. And I got news for you. Nobody thought Kareem's mark would be broken. Ain't nobody breaking this number because he ain't even close to being done. He's going to go over 40,000 without any problem. And there ain't nobody who's going to come close. He's going to go over 40,000 and nobody ain't going to come close. Because nobody's going to play that long. Plus, you don't have the ability to come out right out of high school. And he came right out of high school and immediately had to be a star. Guys that come out of high school now, they allow you to get groomed. They allow you to grow up a bit. You look at a James Wiseman in Golden State with the Warriors. It's just a kid. And they're giving him time to develop and grow, and maybe he gets traded before the trade deadline, maybe he doesn't. Fine. But when you start talking about guys coming out of high school and immediately starting the way he did, Kevin Garnett was another, but Kevin Garnett couldn't play that long. Not at the level that LeBron has. And he's a taller, different body. It's not an indictment on Kevin Garnett. But there's a reason Moses Malone was another guy. Moses Malone played right out of high school. And Moses Malone, career scoring for Moses was, where was he on? 27,409. And Moses Malone played forever. It's remarkable when you think about, the history of, the history of basketball. Amazing achievement by LeBron James. And I still got to talk about, Moses Malone played forever, and he's still 10,000 points short of where LeBron is. Even more than that. So that's all you need to know. Any way you try to shape it up, put it in perspective, what LeBron has accomplished tonight. And we knew it was all coming. It was a question of whether it was tonight or Thursday night. Any way you slice it, it is beyond comprehension. Even in this era with more scoring and all that stuff, and he did play in a more advantageous era, largely, for scoring. But even if you do all that, it doesn't matter. Just amazing. You could just see it in LeBron's face. There's just outright relief that this is over with now. And the Lakers better believe it, because he's going to need every single point tonight to try and get the Lakers over the finish line in this game. 36 for LeBron tonight, and the Lakers at the end of 3 trail Oklahoma City 104-99. Strap up. It's going to be a fun fourth quarter in that game. Over 45.5, by the way, is the number. We told you over 36.5. We told you over 39.5. We've given you 2 live betting winners tonight if you've been listening to the show. And now the current number on LeBron with 36 going to the fourth is 45.5. And is there any reason to believe he isn't going for 50 tonight? Is there any reason to believe he ain't going for a 50 piece with the way he's scoring tonight, doing basically whatever he wants with the basketball? Wow. Just amazing. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now that the record has been broken, we'll just keep an eye and see what LeBron does the rest of the night and see if he goes for 50 in a game that is 104-99 at the end of the third quarter in favor of Oklahoma City. 1-800-224-2004, 800-224-2004. You want to tweet at me, go ahead and do it. At the Back Page, again on Twitter. At the Back Page. I'll hold over the Aaron Rodgers stuff till the next segment because I don't want to shortchange myself here with just a couple minutes remaining in this segment. Other NFL news, and again, in a week where the Super Bowl, you would think there's just no news coming out of the Super Bowl. There's a lot of buzz surrounding the game because of the two teams, but news coming actually out of the Super Bowl, there ain't a lot of it. You're not getting a lot of big stories coming out of the game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire and his injury status is about it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire's been out since week 11 with an ankle injury, and Andy Reid says the team's going to see how the practice plays out this week before deciding if Edwards-Helaire will be part of the running back group that right now is Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, and Ronald Jones. So we'll see where he is, as we get further into the week. But I'm interested, very interested to see what happens as we continue to to go through the week with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But again, all in all, not a ton of buzz and stories and juice coming out of this game. They had the whole media night thing last night where you had, all the players inside the arena and everybody and their mother gets to ask questions, and all that stuff is fun. But just Super Bowl week now, it's more for everything surrounding the game than it is the actual game. I said there was NFL news today. Steve Wilks will not be the head coach of any team next year. He should be the head coach of the Panthers. But Steve Wilks will be a defensive coordinator next year. And he'll be a defensive coordinator with another good team, that being the San Francisco 49ers. So Wilks lands with the Niners for next season. And we'll see, if he gets another chance to be a head coach somewhere. But he's certainly going to get an opportunity to coach a great defense in San Francisco with Kyle Shanahan's club. Another NFL story coming out of this week that has nothing to do with the Super Bowl whatsoever. All right, I'll get to Aaron Rodgers on the other side, because I'm starting to think that we're actually at a point with Aaron Rodgers where his behavior is actually pathological. I'll explain what I'm talking about as we continue. I'm Jason Page. This is the Cash In on SportsMap Radio. I want all 3 hours of this show tonight. If you can send it to me, please. I appreciate it. Yes. Third segment. You got it. Yeah, so you got to be quick. Yep. Quick rejoin. Oh, yeah. Money, money. Money. I think. What I'm probably going to say about Aaron Rodgers, this will probably be podcast worthy. I want to see Cocaine Bear. It looks really funny. So many stories I didn't even get to tonight. I just had a lot of different stories. I've got so many things to hold over for tomorrow. Yeah. By the way, have the dump button ready because I plan to play an Aaron Rodgers cut, and I'm not sure if he swears in it. All right. Thank you. I truly believe that we're at the point with Aaron Rodgers where the behavior is actually borderline pathological. It's a pathological narcissism. Easier for me to say. Let's try that again. I believe we're at the point with Aaron Rodgers. See who says you can't do it live and just do it over. I believe the behavior of this guy right now is pathological in his narcissism. And all you need for proof of that is how he's dragging out this decision. What's it been, a month now? Month plus? Of trying to decide what is, if he's going to keep playing, if he's going to retire. This is narcissism 101. And it's being fed by the likes of Pat McAfee, who just does it every week. What am I talking about? Aaron Rodgers today on the Pat McAfee show. Listen.
You normally don't really throw in this time of year. Have you thought about throwing this year?
Well, I'm still in the art of contemplation about my future, so I'm
Is that real? Are we really contemplating playing football again still? Is that like a heavy thought? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. I just assumed because the way you've given answers, it's like foregone conclusion. But you have told us numerous times you haven't got through that portion of your decision making yet. So that seems surprising to me right there. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing, 100%. And that's why I think it's going to be important to get through this week and then, to take my, my isolation retreat and just to be able to contemplate all things, my future, and then make a decision that I feel like is best for me moving forward and in the highest interest of my happiness, and then move forward.
This is a guy who's just enjoying dragging. It's almost like, LeBron decision sort of thing. But LeBron was a kid when the decision happened. So you're like, oh, who cares? But Aaron Rodgers at 38, 39, 40 years old is making this conscious decision to drag this out because he knows that nearly 1 million people will click on the Pat McAfee show link and watch the interview with him. And he's just eating it up. He loves it. Every second of this. It's never ending. He would drag this out forever if he could because he just loves the attention. He loves this. Look, he spends an hour on what is considered the most highly rated show in our genre. Why that is, I have no idea. But that's another subject entirely. Because it's, other than football talk, you get nothing on that show. It's just a bunch of, whatever. So, Aaron Rodgers goes there. I've said it before. He knows he's not going to be asked any difficult questions. Nothing really all that. They're not going to grill him. They're not going to challenge him. They're going to go, oh, I didn't know that. Wow, I can't believe it. Oh, for an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. But I saw him today, basically just sit there and say, I have to go on my isolation retreat. He knows damn well what he's doing already. Even Pat McAfee in his own roundabout way said, what? You haven't decided? I thought it was a foregone conclusion that you're coming back. Because they all know the drill. They all know he's coming back. Aaron Rodgers will play football next year. Unless the team says we're trading you to Tennessee and get over it and forces his hand to retire that way, which isn't going to happen because nobody wins in that situation. They have the ability to get draft capital out of Aaron Rodgers. They're going to get it, whether it's from San Francisco, whether it's from Las Vegas, whether it's from the Jets, whoever. They have the ability to get something substantial for a guy that's damn near 40. They're going to go and do it. If they decide that's the route they're going to go and they want to trade him. But the decision about whether he's playing or not, come on already. Of course he's playing. I'm going to go to my isolation retreat. I'm going to sit in a dark room. I'm going to close the blinds. And then when I come out of that isolation retreat, then the answer will come to me. And you know what the sad part is? There's so many people that are listening to this stuff and going, wow, how deeply thoughtful. It's pathological behavior. It absolutely is. It is this endless need. And look, maybe he didn't get it as a kid. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get hugged enough. Maybe he got hugged too much. Whatever. But at this point, it's pathological for this man to behave the way he behaves. And he knows it's going to be rewarded. Because here we are talking about him yet again. Even during Super Bowl week. He doesn't want to announce it during Super Bowl week. He don't want to talk about it now. He wants the whole spotlight, baby, and he'll have that right after the Super Bowl. Everybody will be focused on Aaron Rodgers once we get out of the Super Bowl. Because Tom Brady's out of the way. Tom's already made his decision. He didn't need to make everybody wait forever. Now, he may renege on that decision. He may decide ultimately to play next year. But at least for this offseason, we know Tom Brady does not plan to come back next year. But Aaron Rodgers, no. We got to wait it out. I got to milk this baby for all I can. Ugh. I wonder if Packer fans have grown tired of it by now. I haven't looked at a lot of Packers message boards. And maybe there's that thirst that, if we have him for one more year, maybe we can make a run. Maybe, if we have now these young receivers and this young core of receivers, they're on the same page. By midseason, the offense was starting to look a little better. Maybe with just one more year. Again, it's the bad marriage that nobody wants to leave. Fans don't want to leave. Maybe they do. I don't know. Packers management doesn't know how to end it. They don't know how to have the conversation. They don't know how to do it. And in the meanwhile, you got Aaron Rodgers just holding everybody up, saying, well, just give me a little more time. Give me that isolation I need, baby. Joke. 800-224-2004, 800-224-2004 on Twitter at the back page if you want to hit me up. On this history-making night, by the way, LeBron James has broken the all-time single career scoring mark. 36 points tonight. Breaks the mark of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And now the question is, can the Lakers figure out a way to win? They trail 113-106 at home against Oklahoma City. And the scoring slowed down a bit in this fourth quarter. But I'll be interested to see if LeBron gets to 50. There's 8 minutes left in the game. LeBron's got 36. His scoring total has dropped to now 42.5. If you're looking at the live betting on the scoring, we've already given you what I think is going to be two winners. LeBron is at 36. We told you to take over 36.5 when he had 20 points. Then we told you to take over 39.5 when he was at, 30. So right now we're sitting pretty, unless something dramatic happens and he doesn't score the rest of the game, which I don't think is going to happen. Although he did just miss a 3. So LeBron's got 36, unless he gets really cold in this fourth quarter. For the rest of this game, I think we're looking good on 2 live LeBron bets that we've given you tonight. I'm feeling pretty good about it, though. Coming up in a couple of minutes, my conversation with Scott Seidenberg. He joined us in the opening hour of the show tonight. He's our 2 for 1. We're talking all things sports betting related to the Super Bowl, a little bit of NBA as well. Make sure you stick around for that. It's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Scott with pregame.com. He hosts the podcast Straight Out of Vegas, which you can catch weekday mornings on your favorite podcasting place of choice. After you, of course, listen to the Cash In with Jason Page podcast, which is there for you all the time. Go and listen to Scott's podcast, Straight Out of Vegas. We'll come back, talk to Scott on the other side. Lots to do as we continue this final hour of the Cash In on a Tuesday/Wednesday on SportsMap Radio. All right, so you're good on your side, right? Okay, thank you. Like I said, just make sure you do a quick rejoin. Sunday anyway.
Yeah, it's true. And, the whole week leading up to the Super Bowl has just become, almost a caricature of what it used to be, right? Mm-hmm. And you could either spend the entire week hearing from nameless athletes and celebrities pushing products, or you could talk about the serious stuff that's going on this entire week. And there is stuff to talk about. It is an exciting week of sports.
You know what's funny? I interviewed, first Super Bowl Radio Row I ever did. I'll say it was 2009 in Miami, Indianapolis versus the Saints. I did Radio Row. It's my first Radio Row. I was working in Hartford. I interviewed Joe Montana, and I got to interview Joe friggin' Montana. Okay? Now, mind you, this is 14 years. I'm 31 years old. I mean, come on. Like, seriously, I'm interviewing Joe Montana. I barely graduated from East Haven High School. But he's got his PR person there next to him saying, you got to make sure you get at least a minute and a half on Haas avocados. Swear to God.
Yep.
Swear to God, man.
That is Super Bowl Radio Row in a nutshell.
That is all people need to know about Radio Row. And then I got to interview Floyd Mayweather. And when I tell you there were literally like 20 people from his entourage all standing around, you're afraid to ask the wrong question. Somebody's going to beat you down. Like, oh my God. and they're literally trying to drag him away. And I'm like, one more question. Radio Row is insane. I don't know what it's like now, because it's literally been, 13 years, 14 years since I did that. Versus, I didn't really do that much hosting on Radio Row since then. I've been on Radio Row, but not hosting. And people I talked to are like, it's kind of a joke now.
No, for me especially, because we talked about going, and I know that other betting shows are there this week. And with our proximity, it would have been, a nice drive. I could have driven there. I've been to Phoenix many times since I've been here in Vegas. But it wouldn't serve our audience, because with a daily podcast that we do straight out of Vegas AM, available wherever your podcasts are from, and you can, new episodes are Monday through Friday at 5 a.m. Eastern time. It's the morning show that you need
to
get ready for the
it's like Radio Row
sports betting. Yeah, but for our audience, we need to talk about the actionable info that you need for that day. Like, there's college basketball games. The system has won 8 straight games, by the way. There's NHL games. There's the NBA. And I can't spend 45 minutes with an athlete pushing a product when I got to give my audience the info they need to make money tonight. We are a daily sports betting show, and that's why we decided not to go to Radio Row.
This line has not moved, Scott. I mean, since the overnight, that first overnight, the line has not moved. I mean, it's 1.5, 104, 50.5 on FanDuel, which is who we use on this show. Otherwise, I'd drive myself crazy. And I'm sure you talk about price shopping. I'm sure you could. On the spread, it's probably not going to mean that much unless you think it's a 1-point game or something like that. But, and look, with 2-point conversions and all that stuff, you get weirder scores now than you used to. So there's always the possibility there. I mean, is the total 50.5? Is that pretty consistent across the board right now?
No, 51 across the board.
Oh, wow. So see, this is 50.5 on FanDuel. It's 50.5. And
it's moved to 51 across the board. And there actually is 2 books here in town have posted a 2 on the game.
Wow.
Now, they could just be protecting their liabilities, right? Or they could be, it could be a sign of where the market is moving. For me, I think the only way that the only place I see this line moving is in favor of the Chiefs. As you get more and more information about player availability, guys practicing, we're hearing good news about the Chiefs wide receivers practicing. I can see more money coming in on the Chiefs, and this line actually dropping down from the 1.5 to maybe even as close to a pick 'em as we get.
Wow. I got a question for you. I talked about this last week on the show, and it raised some eyebrows with some of my listeners, and they were like, oh my God, I'm going to run and bet the under. The official in this game, whose name is escaping me. Yeah, Carl Cheffers. He's an under guy.
He's also called his crew has called the most penalties in the league this year.
This is what I'm talking about. So is under the pick?
Well, no, because what people have to understand is, yes, Carl Cheffers' crew has called the most penalties this season. This is not Carl Cheffers' crew. This is an all-star crew. When you get to this point, it's the best of the best officials. So, yes, in the pregame meeting, Cheffers might be telling them what to look for, but this is not the same crew that has worked together all season long. So I throw out the Carl Cheffers crew calling the most penalty stuff. Again, these are different officials. These are not the same guys that he's worked with all season long.
Wow.
And as far as the total is concerned, it's honestly, I have a hard time picking a side or the total in this game. Props for me is the way to go. I have a list of, I think, about 26 of them already. And
26? That's not even being an expert. That's being a junkie, dude.
I'm going to narrow it down to play my top one, my top few. But I think the prop market's the way that you can make money on this Super Bowl because, to me, yes, I lean Kansas City, and I would take Kansas City with the points. But this is as close of a game as you're going to find.
Do you even bother betting the stupid stuff like the coin toss and the national anthem?
If you're going to bet the coin toss, look for a book that's not giving you juice. Like some of these books are cockroaches, and they're going to charge you minus 117, minus 112. It's all stupid. Don't see. People don't realize they just want to bet the 50-50 proposition. They don't realize the juice that comes into play with these things. So unless you're getting a fair, even money on both sides, don't bet the coin toss.
All right, give me a couple of the prop bets that you like here.
So my favorite bet of the game, I'll give it out to you for free because I like it. This is the best bet of the game. All right, to get out your pens and papers. Over 1.5 fourth down conversions.
Wow, I love it.
It's juiced right now at minus 165 or minus 170. I would play it honestly up to 250 because that's how confident I am that there's going to be more than one fourth down conversion in this game. Think about the Eagles.
It seems so low.
Yeah, the Eagles average a little less than 2 fourth down conversion attempts per game. You know when it's fourth and short, they're going for it. That quarterback sneak with Jalen Hurts is unstoppable. And if it's a 4th and 3, Nick Sirianni is aggressive. He's going to go for it. And then you throw in the fact that the large possibility that there will be one team losing in the fourth quarter, and they will have the football, likely having to go for it on a fourth down. I think over 1.5 fourth down conversions is the best bet for this game.
Wow, that's a great pick. Yeah, I've written that one down because I'll be in Arizona. I'm not in this BS state of California where sports betting isn't legal yet. So I'm gonna have to place that one at the casino there in Glendale. How about another one? Give me one more.
I really like the no touchback on the opening kickoff. Now, I know last year it got a lot of publicity because of Pat McAfee. And McAfee explained that what happens in the Super Bowl is that the ball that is used for the opening kickoff is a brand new football. The kickers don't have an opportunity to warm up with it. They don't have an opportunity to get in. They kick it for the kickoff, and then as soon as the kickoff's over, that ball comes out of the game and is sent to Canton to go to the Hall of Fame. So it's more likely that ball does not travel as far. Now, last year was played in the Dome, just like this year's is played in the Dome, and last year it was a touchback, but still, what is it? 28 of the last 31 Super Bowl opening kickoffs have not been a touchback, and you get plus money on this. So you get the players amped up to try and make a play. They're in the Super Bowl. Even if they field it a couple of yards deep, they're taking it out.
Can I hold you for a minute?
Sure.
Scott Seidenberg coming back. I'm going to hold him over. I'm going to make him do one more segment with me because I got to get a couple basketball questions in too. Stick around. More of the Cash In. So I got this on my end. Yep. Just arguing with our guest, Scott Seidenberg, which I can do because we used to work together, about the LeBron James quest for, I don't know, whatever the number is, 38,388 points. What do you have, 8 in the first quarter, Scott? Is that what you said?
Yep, 8 in the first quarter. They're in the second quarter now, and I still think he gets it tonight in the fourth quarter because let me ask you this question, Jason Page.
Fine.
If LeBron comes close to his season average, he's got 29 to 30 points late in this game. You think he's coming out of the game?
You're saying if it's a blowout or something like that one way or the other?
No matter what, if LeBron James does what he does on a night-in, night-out basis, his teammates are going to force-feed him the basketball in the final 4 minutes. He's going to take every single shot to get this record.
I don't understand this logic. It's not the last game of the season, Scott. They've got another game Thursday night on TNT again against the Bucks. Who cares?
Yeah, you want to do it in a win, a game that they can win tonight against a Thunder team that gave up 141 points yesterday and already gave up 34 points in the first quarter tonight. And you can stop the game for 5 minutes and everyone cheers and it'll be great. You don't do it in the first quarter against the Bucks in a game that they're probably going to lose. That's already a sellout anyway because it's Giannis and the Bucks in town. Here's what I honestly think happens. I think LeBron breaks it tonight, and I don't think LeBron plays on Thursday against the Bucks.
Just got an and one.
Load management.
No, I think you play him against them. Look, they can't afford to do load management when this team's trying to make the playoffs. And they beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee, by the way. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion they get blown out on Thursday. Just arguing with our guest, Scott Seidenberg, which I can do because we used to work together, about the LeBron James quest for, I don't know, whatever the number is, 38,388 points. What do you have, 8 in the first quarter, Scott? Is that what you said?
Yep, 8 in the first quarter. They're in the second quarter now, and I still think he gets it tonight in the fourth quarter because let me ask you this question, Jason Page.
Fine.
If LeBron comes close to his season average, he's got 29 to 30 points late in this game. You think he's coming out of the game?
You're saying if it's a blowout or something like that one way or the other?
No matter what, if LeBron James does what he does on a night-in, night-out basis, his teammates are going to force-feed him the basketball in the final 4 minutes. He's going to take every single shot to get this record.
I don't understand this logic. It's not the last game of the season, Scott. They've got another game Thursday night on TNT again against the Bucks. Who cares?
Yeah, you want to do it in a win, a game that they can win tonight against a Thunder team that gave up 141 points yesterday and already gave up 34 points in the first quarter tonight. And you can stop the game for 5 minutes and everyone cheers and it'll be great. You don't do it in the first quarter against the Bucks in a game that they're probably going to lose. That's already a sellout anyway because it's Giannis and the Bucks in town. Here's what I honestly think happens. I think LeBron breaks it tonight, and I don't think LeBron plays on Thursday against the Bucks.
Just got an and one.
Load management.
No, I think you play him against them. Look, they can't afford to do load management when this team's trying to make the playoffs. And they beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee, by the way. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion they get blown out on Thursday night. I just don't see the urgency to do it tonight. Like I said, it's going to be 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Your your biggest record in the history of basketball. Kareem's there. Kareem's going to be nodding off by the time this game's over, sitting in the front row.
Kareem already recorded his message. You know it's going to hit Twitter as soon as LeBron breaks.
No, he's sitting there in the front row. I'm sorry. It drives me nuts that this game isn't going to be seen
13 points. Here we go.
Oh, he scored again. Oh, gee, he might break it by the half at this pace. Jesus.
The books, by the way, juiced up his point prop tonight to 32.5. It's normally around 29.5 on a night in, night out basis. They juiced it up to 32.5. And I just felt like if he's going to break it, like you might as well go over, because the odds of him falling between 29 and 35 are very unlikely.
What was the Mavericks number before and after the Kyrie trade? You'd probably know better than I would. I know it's plus 1,500 now on FanDuel. What was it before?
It was close to 30-1.
Wow, they were up at 3,000?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting now is you can still get them at a pretty good value to win the Western Conference, and I actually like that bet. To win the Western Conference, they're, I think, 7-1.
They're plus 600 on FanDuel. And this is why you got a price shop.
Yeah, and I mean, I like them at 7-1. I like them at 6-1. But you think about the teams that are ahead of them. Yeah, there's the Grizzlies, the Clippers, the Nuggets, and the Warriors are right there with them. I think with Kyrie now, this team that was very close to doing it last year could very well do it this year. And here's another thing to think about. Does Kevin Durant get traded in the next day or two?
Sounds like no.
Yeah, because that was the big question mark. And I was thinking about the other day placing bets on on teams just for the potential of Durant being traded. Like betting the Phoenix Suns to win the NBA Finals, betting the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA Finals, just for the possibility of a Kevin Durant trade. But if you don't think it's going to happen, then you don't place those bets.
Talking with Scott Seidenberg, host pregame.com. Straight Out of Vegas is his podcast that he works on so hard. You can catch it every morning. I think it uploads. They said 5 a.m. 5 a.m.?
5 a.m. Eastern time.
5 a.m. Eastern time. Joining us here on the show. Go back to the Super Bowl here with me for a second. Other player prop bets that you like?
I do like... So I like Mahomes over passing yards and passing attempts. And what I really like is Kelsey over receptions. There was a lot of talk last week about Kelsey and the back injury that he suffered in the practice right before the game. And people were worried his player prop total was bet down. I think everyone bet the under 78.5. I think he ended up with 78 yards. But I think he's fine, because what we've seen from Kelsey the past week or so, he's everywhere, right? He's going to games. He's out in the public. If you are dealing with a back injury before the Super Bowl, you're not out and about. You're receiving treatment. You're getting it taken care of. I think Kelsey's fine, and he's going to have a major part in this offense. I don't necessarily like the over yardage, but I like the over catches for Travis Kelce.
This probably should have been the first question I asked before asking you about all these prop bets, but I'll ask it anyway. They're saying a record 50.4 million adults are going to bet on the Super Bowl to the tune of about $16 billion. It's a lot of money. What's the best piece of advice you can give to the casual gambler who really only bets the Super Bowl every year? If they've got a couple $100 that they're looking to spread around, do you do 10 bets that you really like? Do you do, 5 bets at $40 a piece? How do you advise people on that sort of thing?
Don't bet a same game parlay. Okay. I know you see them tweeted out all the time. They're all over social media. It's lots of fun. $5, he won 30 grand. Yeah, it doesn't happen. Okay. Save your money. Don't bet the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leg same game parlays, because you know what winds up happening, Jason, is people don't think smart when they place these same game parlays. But what I mean by that is their bets aren't correlated.
They're contradictory. Okay? Yes.
You can't bet under 51 and then pick 6 players to score anytime touchdown. It just doesn't make sense. You can't go under Patrick Mahomes passing yards and then go over Travis Kelce receiving yards, over Juju receiving yards, and Kadarius Toney anytime touchdown. These don't make sense. You have to plan out your game script and what you think is going to happen. If the Eagles are going to run the ball, then Jalen Hurts goes under his passing yards, and you look for the over on the Eagles running backs. If you think Mahomes has a big passing day, then you're going to do a correlated bet with someone like a Kelsey or a Juju. So you just got to be smart with these things. What I would recommend to anybody, especially new bettors, take advantage of all the promos out there. A lot of these sports books are giving out free bets, profit boosts, promos. You can play them all against each other and take advantage of a lot of opportunities to get some extra money.
Does the Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury status, does that impact, do you almost wait to do the Mahomes passing yardage prop bet, waiting to see what happens with him or not?
No, what I would do is play the under on Jerick McKinnon, though, because if you can still find an under on Jerick McKinnon, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active and actually play in this game, we know what Isaiah Pacheco means to this offense. So if CEH gets some carries in this game, that means that Jerick McKinnon's not.
So 21, right now I see McKinnon at 21.5.
And I would play the under. That's the way you got to think about it. Or, another way to look at it is look at Isaiah Pacheco's receiving numbers. He did a really good job out of the backfield catching the football last game in the AFC Championship game. And if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active and getting some carries, I wouldn't be surprised with the injuries that the Chiefs have been dealing with the wide receiver position. If Pacheco lines up in the slot, if Pacheco is a receiver out of the backfield, if you have Pacheco and CEH on the field at the same time, I could see maybe a Pacheco receiving yardage prop.
What do you think of the Hurts passing yards number? I see 238.5.
Under.
Wow.
I'll tell you this.
I agree. By the way, I agree with you. So you make me feel better.
We got one quarterback here that kind of showed us that the injuries don't bother him, right? Everyone talked about Mahomes' ankle and nothing. There was nothing that affected him. We haven't seen Jalen Hurts show us that the shoulder is not an issue yet because he hasn't had to do anything.
Yep.
He didn't have to do anything in the entire playoffs, and he hasn't thrown for a ton of yardage yet. So we still haven't seen if the shoulder is an issue or not for Jalen Hurts. I like under Hurts passing yards.
He's Scott Seidenberg. He's the host at pregame.com, straight out of Vegas. Catch it on wherever you get your podcasts, 5 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. I think Monday through Friday. Yes?
Monday through Friday, yep.
Scott, I always appreciate it, my friend. Enjoy the big game on Sunday.
14 for LeBron.
Stick around. Always appreciative for the time as well. Again, pregame.com is the way to go for all of your sports betting needs. Straight Out of Vegas is the podcast. Thanks for being with us. Lakers lose. LeBron scores 38, breaks the record. We'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm Jason Page. The Cash In. Bye. All right, dude. You're good? Thank you. Have a good night, man. Bye. All right, on the video side, that does it for us. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Have a great night. We'll have more information on our live Super Bowl Sunday broadcast coming up as well. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll get into a more normal show now that LeBron's broken the record. We were on LeBron Watch all night. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Have a great night. I'm Jason. Bye.